Spiderhead, brand new Netflix original film directed by Joseph Kosinski, who just came off directing Top Gun Maverick. This film stars Chris Hemsworth, Miles Teller, and Journey Smollett. In the near future, convicts are offered the chance to volunteer as medical subjects to shorten their sentence. One such subject, played by Miles Teller, for a new drug of capable of generating feelings of love, begins questioning the reality of his emotions. The whole company is ran by Chris Hemsworth's character. The film is an hour and 46 minutes, rated R, and is on Netflix. We're about to a brand new Netflix movie review here at Max Talk. We talked about the highly anticipated, highly talked about Spiderhead. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, ring the bell. Also comment down below. What are your thoughts on this movie? Did this disappoint you? Was this cool to see Hemsworth playing a different type of character? Did this disappoint you? Would you want to see a sequel in this world? Let me know in the comment section down below. If you want to talk spoilers, leave spoiler tabs with people who are just here for the non-spoiler. Can stay away from that comment. Like the video, guys, as well. That's how you support this channel the best way. So the background for me was this. I've seen the trailer and I knew the buildup. And I kind of knew what the plot was going. Joseph Kosinski, as I just said, coming off of Top Gun Maverick. He's obviously before that did Tron Legacy, Oblivion, and Only the Brave. And obviously this is now the third consecutive team up for Joseph Kosinski with Miles Teller, who was also in Top Gun Maverick, but also this movie starring and produced by Chris Hemsworth, who's become now one of Netflix's kind of main guys, with now the Extraction franchise now being a thing. We're getting Extraction 2 coming out later this year. He just produced a movie that his wife starred in last week, or 2 weeks ago. So that was exciting. This also comes from one of the writers in this film is Rhett Reese. His name kind of came familiar if you know anything big writing wise. He has written both Zombieland films, Six Underground, Life, and Deadpool 1 and 2. So really best known for writing Zombieland 1 and 2 and Deadpool 1 and 2. So he's one of the best writers out there. He's one of the co-writers of this movie. And the concept was, and let's just start with this movie first. The positives, my negatives, and my score. I think the concept for this movie is by far and away the strongest aspect and really kept me watching throughout the entire film. Chris Hemsworth runs this pharmaceutical thing that's forcing all these people to do this test. And he's kind of have some sinister things about them on why Hemsworth is kind of doing these things. This is a totally, and we'll get into the acting actually in a sec, but this concept is genius, and it's a really well done world building. The world building is really strong in the opening 20 minutes of the movie. When you understand what Chris Hemsworth is doing, when you start to really uncover the backstories of both Miles Teller and Journey Smollett's character, why they're even in this place in the building, why the rest of the people are being tested, who are these people, it's good world building, because it feels like, well, this is very much a movie type of plot. It feels like maybe in the near future, this could be a thing where people would, a pharmaceutical thing would want to test people, but would test people who are incarcerated or in prison and all these different things. So I love the concept of the movie, of this, I guess of this, not drug, but yeah, using these drugs to maybe flip your personality. Make you more inclined to fall in love with someone or to follow orders. All these different drugs work in different ways. And that I thought was really interesting. And I think it raises some really interesting dynamics of plot between Hemsworth and Teller, because, you know, Hemsworth kind of is in the boat of possibly thinking that the world's kind of needing to be in a utopia, and this will save the world if people are directed into certain emotions. And obviously Jeff, played by Teller, doesn't, obviously he wants some positivity, but he's not sure if this is the right way to go for society. So let's get into the acting. Another huge plus is this main trio here. Chris Hemsworth is definitely the main focus, probably that has the most screen time of three. He plays a character named Amnesty, Steve Amnesty. He is a very different type of character. If you're used to seeing Chris Hemsworth play this and likable, funny guy who's the main protagonist, It is actually really cool seeing him do something completely different than usual. Now, there's definitely some Hemsworth isms in the movie, and there's definitely some instances where he does make a couple of jokes, but he is just not the hero. He's a likable kind of corporate douchebag. And as you more uncover what he does, I don't want to spoil the third act of the movie, but you start to uncover things about him as well, which is a different type of character, because even though you pretty much know from the start to the finish where his character will go, it's still fun to watch Hemsworth really show off his acting range, because you really have never seen him play this type of character before. And I think it's good for people who just think that he's just in that Thor world and he can only play that type of character. I think if you're that type of person, I would watch the movie to see kind of his range. He's really excellent in the movie, and he knows also exactly what movie he is in, which I really liked. Miles Teller is also very good. He's a easy to like protagonist in this movie, and even though he has done some bad stuff in the past, he's still a very easy person to root for. He has that easy charisma. I've been a big fan of him for a while. I was really happy. He really broke out and almost stole and was one of the best parts of Top Gun Maverick. And obviously he's got The Offer. This is a big time year for Miles Teller. And they continue with this movie because he's very good. And then also Journey Smollett's very good. I don't think she has enough to do until the last act of the movie. But her and Teller have good chemistry together. I wish we maybe had more time together, but again, the cast is really good. The concept is really good. And I kind of liked how the first act and like the first hour of this movie was very much kind of a slow build, dialogue heavy movie, which I was actually kind of enjoying, kind of kept me wanting to know what would be the next step on this journey. But let's get into some of my negatives. As I said, the concept, the cast, and kind of the slow build of the movie kind of were getting me interested in the movie. But there's a lot of cliches that the movie kind of throws in. And I do, from such accomplished writer as Rhett Reese is, this at times feels like a lazy script at points, because the concept is there, but I feel like that to get from like point A to point B, they have to throw logic out the window or give characters conveniences to move the plot going. And that was kind of a big disappointment, because the concept and the plot at the beginning was kind of interesting itself, but characters make such bad decisions that if they were just think about what they just did, we obviously would not have a movie. And that was kind of disappointing, especially Hemsworth's character makes multiple just really dumb decisions, and the movie would not work unless he makes these dumb decisions. And that was just a bit of a disappointment, because especially towards the last 30 minutes, it feels like the movie just throws logic kind of out the window. And that was such a disappointment, because the movie has such a good metaphor going for it, and a concept that it should just stick to it and stay inclined. There's a point in the movie where it kind of wants to be like its action film for a good 5 or 10 minutes. And that kind of pulled me right out of the movie, because I liked the slow build, dialogue heavy film. And when it went to kind of being an action film, it didn't make a lot of sense how these characters could, do these kind of moves on people. That kind of pulled me out of the movie as well. But really, those dumb decisions, throwing logic, and as I said, this movie has just too many plot conveniences to get characters certain places, to get the plot moving. And I just wanted the plot to just sit down and still be enclosed, but instead we have characters dropping things just out of nowhere right next to our characters so they can pick it up and see what's inside. We have characters just dropping devices or handing devices to other characters, even though they should probably be in control. As I said, it really comes down to Hemsworth's character making too many dumb decisions. It's not with Hemsworth as a actor, or really I like the character. He just makes so many dumb decisions in the third act of this movie. It's just tough to really grasp that this is actually what he would actually do in this situation. If he's this smart millionaire, it just doesn't really make a lot of sense. So it's a frustrating film, because the concept is there, the cast was fantastic, and I was really intrigued. I was never bored once. I was intrigued watching this entire film, but it comes out to be a pretty disappointing Netflix film because of plot conveniences, logic thrown out the window in the third act of the movie. and at times it wanting to be a low-key action film in the third act, which I was just not invested or caring about. So overall, this is not a bad movie, but it also isn't really a good movie either. I'm going to give Spiderhead a 2.5 out of 5, a 50% for Spiderhead. This will be definitely one of the more forgettable Netflix films of the year, which is disappointing because of this cast and Joseph Kosinski directing it. Those parts work, but when you throw logic out the window and just do bad character decisions, it kind of just pulls me out of the movie. So that's my thoughts on Spiderhead. Please like the video, subscribe, ring the bell. My other videos coming on the channel this week. Later today, you'll have my box office breakdown show. Tomorrow, you'll have my Pixar, my Toy Story franchise ranking, including Lightyear. Wednesday, reviews of Miss Marvel episode 3 and Obi-Wan episode 6. And then reviews of possibly both the Black Phone and Elvis coming this week as well. So tons to talk about. Thanks for joining me on this review, and I'll see you guys.